Here is the story of my life. Whatever I did was wrong. And whenever I tried to figure something out, I figured out too late. And whenever I tried to help, I made things worse. Whenever I wanted to get somewhere, something would step in and block me. Whenever I felt like I finally had something, something would take it away from me. I was 39 years old and living with my mother. I hadn't had a good year. Following the Newtown Elementary Massacre, dialogue concerning gun laws and safety permeated the airwaves. However, few, if any, were actively discussing the likely primary cause, our severe underdevelopment of our mental health programs. And not just in this tragedy, but the tragedies of Columbine, Virginia Tech, Fort Hood, and in 2014 alone, over 50 other mass shootings. While there have been major steps forward, including increased outpatient treatment and civilian mental health training, the National Alliance of Mental Health gave the U.S. a D rating and has cut more than $4 billion to our mental health programs, even though some estimates of those dealing with a mental illness is as high as 1 in 4 Americans. However, as author Jim Shepard illuminates, perhaps it is not just our programs that are underdeveloped, but our entire approach to dialogue, and that mental illness is not always obvious. For as German psychiatrist Heinz Hafner suggests, we are not experiencing a rise in mental illness, but a rise in pessimism. Boys Town by Jim Shepard. You get lonely, is what it is. You know, a person's not supposed to go through life without absolutely anybody. It's not normal. The longer you go by yourself, the weirder you get. And the weirder you get, the longer you go by yourself. It's like this loop that you gotta do something to get out of. I met this girl, Janice, who I saw a lot at the store. And I started talking to her because it seemed like, you know, she was always out and I was always out. And she just seemed like a good person. And when I was with her, I would have these thoughts that maybe I can do this or that. You know, sit down at a restaurant with somebody and just eat like a human being. Maybe take her back to my place and watch a movie. If my mother would ever leave the house. One time, I was at the library. And I saw Janice. And I noticed that she was checking out these DVDs about Milo and Otis. So I said to her, so you like dogs, huh? And she asked, and she said yes. And so I said, I have a dog. And then she asked me what kind, and so I told her. And as she was leaving, she said that maybe we'd go dog walking sometime. And I said, maybe we would. I went over to Janice's house twice. Both times, couldn't even get up to the front door. And the second time, I was just standing there with my dog, talking to myself. And my dog takes a dump on the sidewalk. My dad left when I was in 3rd or 4th grade. You know, when he and my mother could still joke around, it was always about me coming to a bad end. Like anybody could tell anything about a 9-year-old. Now, one Christmas, as a joke, my father gave me the VHS Boys Town, the movie where Spencer Tracy is this priest. And Mickey Rooney is this tough kid, gone straight, because he got a new baseball glove or smelled some home-cooked bread or some fucking thing like that. There's this one scene I really like from it. It's where this kid is coming up to the courtyard where Mickey Rooney is sitting. And Mickey Rooney says, "Well, I'm nothing." And the kid says, "Oh then, you go on being nothing." After my dog took a dump on Janice's sidewalk, I didn't see her for 3 weeks. I think that she was avoiding me. So I went over to her house, I wrote a note, and I put it on the screen for her. When I got home, I realized I forgot to put my name on it. And then I realized I forgot to put my number on it. The guy who sold me my Desert Eagle said that it was one of a kind, and that they weren't going to import any more Israeli ones. And somebody else I talked to said that was complete bullshit. I joined a gun owners forum, just so I could talk to somebody. One guy, triple nuts, who lived near me, said that we should meet up sometime and go hunting. But we never did. One day I was just cleaning snow off my front porch, and I go inside my house and I ask my mom if there were any messages on the answering machine. And she said that there was one. But she didn't leave a name. And I thought to myself that it was Janice. And I wanted to go right there and then, but it was snowing outside. In the opening credits of the movie Boys Town, there's this small little guy who's just warming his hands up in the alleyway. I forgot about that. And there's this one guy who's about to get electrocuted in the electric chair. And the governor says to him that he owes a debt to the state. And this guy goes nuts. He says, where was the state when he was a little boy living in a flop house with homeless people and drunks, and that if he had one friend, he wouldn't be here right now. The next morning it was sunny, and by the time I got to Janice's house, I rang the doorbell. And a man answers the door. I'm sorry, sir, but is Janice home? And behind him, I can see Janice. And I know that she saw me. I'm sorry, but I have to go. And I leave. And as I'm leaving, I can hear them laughing at me. Like it was some sort of comedy for them. And then I find my Desert Eagle in my pocket.